War is changing, not only on the battlefield of tanks and trenches, but in the silent waters of the Black Sea, where shadows move at night, and machines no bigger than a speedboat or a hobby drone strike fear into fleets worth billions. This is the story of how Ukraine's ghost drones, operated by elite special forces, managed to cripple a Russian warship valued at nearly $500 million. It is the story of how cheap, intelligent, and expendable weapons are rewriting the rules of naval warfare. When Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, few believed naval drones would ever matter. At the time, the Russian Black Sea Fleet was considered powerful and untouchable, boasting missile corvettes, frigates, and landing ships capable of dominating the region. But Ukraine, with limited naval resources, had to innovate. Instead of matching Russia ship for ship, Kyiv turned to asymmetric warfare. Just as roadside bombs once humbled armored convoys in past wars, drones have become Ukraine's answer to Russia's navy. These drones, launched from secret coastal sites or hidden boats, are piloted by units known as the Ghosts. They are specialists in electronic warfare, stealth operations, and unmanned systems. They do not wear uniforms on open decks or fire cannons across the sea. Instead, they remain unseen, guiding their machines across the waves or through the sky until the moment of strike. Every operation is carefully planned. A reconnaissance drone scouts the area. A wave of attack drones approaches. And then, in a sudden burst of chaos, the warship's defenses are overwhelmed. The Russian warship at the heart of this story was valued at around $500 million. It carried radar systems, missile launchers, electronic countermeasures, and heavy firepower. On paper, it was formidable. But every ship has weak points: radar masks that can be blinded, engines that can be disabled, bridges that can be destroyed with a single well-placed blow. The Ghosts knew these vulnerabilities and aimed directly for them. Ukraine's arsenal is varied. Naval drones like the Magura V5 are sleek, fast, and packed with explosives. They skim the waves at high speed and ram directly into a ship's hull. FPV drones, guided by operators wearing goggles, can weave through defenses and smash into critical equipment. Loitering munitions hover overhead until the perfect moment arrives. Together, these tools form a swarm of destruction that is cheap to build, but devastating against even the largest of ships. This is the key to Ukraine's strategy: spending thousands to destroy assets worth hundreds of millions. Now picture the night of the attack. The Black Sea lies calm under a moonless sky. A Russian warship patrols, confident in its size, sensors, and firepower. The crew feels secure, believing they can detect any approaching threat. But unseen, the ghost operators are already in motion. High above, a silent drone observes the ship, recording every movement and transmitting data to its controllers. The Russians do not know they are being watched. Suddenly, decoy drones appear on radar, approaching from one direction. The ship's crew sounds the alarm, weapons fire erupts, and defenders scramble to react. But this is only a distraction. While the Russians focus on the decoys, the real attack begins from another angle. Out of the darkness, multiple naval drones cut through the waves at incredible speed. At the same time, FPV drones dive toward the ship from above. The Russian crew is overwhelmed. One drone smashes into the radar mast, blinding the ship. Another dives straight into the bridge, shattering windows and disabling communications. Then, in the waterline, the Magura drones hit their mark. Explosions erupt near the engine compartment. Power flickers and fails. Flames rise from the deck. Within moments, the warship, once proud and powerful, is drifting helplessly. Its systems are crippled. Its crew is thrown into panic. A vessel worth $500 million is silenced by machines that cost only a fraction of that. The damage is staggering. Ukrainian officials estimate that naval drone strikes have inflicted hundreds of millions of dollars in losses on the Russian fleet, with some assessments placing the figure at roughly $500 million. Repairs take months, sometimes years. Replacement parts are scarce, and in some cases, the damage is so severe that ships never fully return to service.
Running out of everything.
For Russia, each lost or disabled warship is more than a financial cost. It is a blow to prestige, morale, and strategy. The psychological impact is perhaps greater than the physical. Russian sailors now know that no ship is safe. No matter how large, no matter how heavily armed, every patrol carries the risk that silent drones are waiting just beyond the horizon. That knowledge changes behavior. It forces Russia to hide ships in port, disperse them far from the front lines, and spend millions on new defenses. Every day they defend, they lose the initiative. Every day they repair, Ukraine gains precious time. Strategically, these strikes shift the balance of power in the Black Sea. Russia can no longer dominate with impunity. Ukraine has forced one of the world's largest navies to live in fear of swarms of small disposable weapons. This is the essence of asymmetric warfare, turning weakness into strength, using innovation to humble giants. Of course, Russia adapts. They fortify ports, deploy more air defenses, and experiment with jamming technology. But each new defense is costly, and drones continue to evolve. They become faster, stealthier, harder to detect. The cycle continues: attack, counter, innovation, attack again. The lesson is clear. The age of invincible warships is over. Across the world, military planners are watching. If drones can disable a Russian warship worth $500 million, what does that mean for billion-dollar aircraft carriers, destroyers, and fleets that form the backbone of global naval power? The future of war at sea will not be measured by tonnage or missile range, but how well a navy can defend against swarms of tiny, intelligent threats. Ukraine's ghosts have revealed the truth. In the 21st century, the giants of the sea can fall not to missiles or torpedoes, but to small, unseen machines guided by fearless operators. This attack was not just a military strike, it was a signal to the world. The rules have changed. The balance of power at sea has shifted. This is how Ukraine's ghost drones crippled a $500 million Russian warship. A story not only of technology, but of courage, ingenuity, and determination. A story of how the shadows of the Black Sea became a nightmare for the Russian fleet. And a story that reminds us all, in modern war, it is not size that decides the outcome, but speed, surprise, and the shadows of the ghosts.